Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone watching from home. Welcome back to the US World Cup 2024 in the round of 32. We're here with, on paper, the closest matchup of the weekend, and a matchup between two teams that a lot of people have talked about as potentially a bit underseeded or even better than their qualifiers seeding. It's Romania versus Brazil. I'm Dio, and I am super excited to be casting what is sure to be a banger of a match here, alongside the one and only Azer. Good afternoon, sir. He was playing away from home. Yeah. Yeah, Droppings, formerly known as XX Louise XX47, so has seen the World Cups before, but don't believe was playing last year, so returning after at least a year hiatus, and clearly still got it based off the qualifiers at least. And Romania also with quite a lot of changes this year, 4 different members compared to last year. Badu, Kamoziala, Halplev, and Raze subbing out for Ninoya, Kahest, Alex Balea, and Origin. So Lucrece, Eternum, Rolly, and Sylvian sticking around, and they had some pretty good shouts in the qualifiers as well. Romania with really solid scores on especially Nomad Mechanics, Flow Aim, Alt, some very, very good Hard Rock and Hidden scores as well, and very solid stuff from a lot of people. Definitely the usual suspects you expect to do well for Romania. Lucrece, Ninoya, Eternum, Rolly, I think making up a lot of the roster, but definitely room to shine for a lot of other members, especially on the hiddens and on some of the less conventional picks in the pool is where you start to see that core mechanics roster drop out. And by the way, we're already into the bans. Brazil banning out the double time 3. Romania this year, as opposed to previous years, you're going to expect them to be a mechanics team, and Romania banning out the hidden 2. Once again, I think to be expected in this matchup into the first pick Hard Rock 1 from Romania. Again, not very surprising given what we've seen in the qualifiers and what we expected from this team coming into the tournament with the roster swaps they had.
That's right. Apparently I was silenced before this moment, so I'm going to reiterate on the points I was saying. But hello, everybody. Happy to be here. I think it's important to note, at least for this Brazilian team, seeding at 17, Korean Maluko was not home. So that's their seed with, arguably their best player not even playing at home, right? So a lot of question marks here. How much better are they actually? Going in qualifier results for this team as well. 2 of their top performing players are fairly new names, I think, for the World Cup scene. Droppings and Izzy, in overall performance, being their best performers by pretty far, actually, and doing pretty well in the grand scheme of things for a 17 team. So pretty excited to see how that ends up developing. Izzy most notably getting a really, really good Nomad 2 score on the qualifier, right? Like the Flow Aim stream map, only 300s, I think. One of the few FCs on any of the qualifier maps between these two teams, so definitely a standout score. And I'm really excited to see how this ends up going.
Yeah, and all that said, we're already into it, so let's get ready for this Hard Rock 1. Eternum, Ninoya, Rolly, Kahest in for Romania. Bit of a different roster from what we saw from them in the qualifiers, though Kahest did play and full combo the Hard Rock 2 for them in qualifiers, so definitely still expecting a good score here. Brazil fielding Korea Maluko, Izzy, TFGE Kitten, formerly known as Mains or Fake Defons with a 0 instead of an O. Just going to call them TFGE Kitten for the sake of viewers. And Droppings, again, formerly XX Louise XX47, one of the mainstays in qualifiers this year and returning player after a year hiatus here for Brazil.
Fake Defons.
fake defons.
We've got a lot of fake zeros in OWC so far. We just have
really do.
Page with the 0 as well. Lots of question mark. It is not defons, in fact. A really consistent map here to get into. It's still a little hard to jump in. OWC first map being played for both of these teams, right? Playing Hard Rock right off the bat, but you know, as comfortable as it gets here, you know, pretty consistent mechanics on this one. Early lead going to Romania here, despite the miss from Eternum.
Yeah, another miss from Izzy, though, on the side of Brazil, and Rolly actually following it up with a miss of his own. So now 2-3 in terms of the full combos, but the accuracy for Romania, I think, just keeping it on their side. 95 for Korea Maluko. Droppinks also finding the drop there, and now it's 2-2 in the full combo, supporting combo better for Romania, but another drop for Nanoya on this kind of small jump, slight aim control section here. There's another one of those coming up later in the map, and it's proved to be somewhat difficult for some of the players. The nerve control here on Hard Rock can be a bit of a factor, especially with that higher circle size. Those small circles can get you, and right now they're getting Romania as Brazil comes out to a bit of a lead halfway through.
Yeah, already we're seeing the spice that's probably being foreshadowed ahead here. These two teams are so closely matched. And at the break here, Rolly finding another miss. Brazil pretty comfortably in the lead here, setting up for a first break point on here.
This is the trouble with some of these early picks, is both of these teams are very solid and very good at a lot of similar things. You expect Romania to be the speed and mechanics team, but it's not like Brazil is bad at that at all. They're usually a team that likes to take advantage of these kinds of picks in the Hard Rock pool, so picking into this kind of stuff for either team is always going to be a bit of a toss-up, and you're seeing that here. It's only 200k. The score bar makes it look quite large, but it's really not. A drop from one or two of those FCs could instantly swap this back to the side of Romania, but that window of opportunity is slowly closing here. It's just a slight breeze now coming through as Brazil holding through the aim control section once again, and that should be them closing out a breakpoint on Romania's first pick. 300,000 score lead by the end of it. Very solid double FC from Korea Maluko and TFGE Kitten. Double 700k is on the supporting scores as well.
Some of these accuracies are absolutely insane. I mean, TFG Kitten just got a bunch of hundreds at the end there, but was also holding 2-300s. Droppings 200, Eternum 600, Nanoya 700. Very comfortable in this map already, right? Like, we quickly mentioned this, but you know, in terms of skill sets and how these teams fare off, especially in qualifiers, not a lot of differences, not a lot of advantages to be found. Every single map in qualifiers between these two teams, except for one, was within 300k score of each other, right? Extremely closely matched between both of these teams. However, the one difference that was pretty noticeable is that Hard Rock, specifically Hard Rock mechanics type stuff, such as that map, was the only outlier in the qualifier scores that really favored Romania, right? With 600k, 700k lead for them. So them losing out on that as a first pick is a little bit scary to be in that situation. And now Brazil gets their own pick, having ran away with a breakpoint here on the first map.
I wouldn't be too surprised if we see them pick into something like the DT1 or the free mod one after that as well. Yeah. Brazil generally with the advantage on paper on double time coming out of qualifiers, and of course free mod one, I think probably the most similar map to what we just saw on that Hard Rock one left in the pool. Hidden one's just straight up not an aim map, and Nomad one, it's aim, but it's a very, very different style of aim map, far more focused on very high spacing, lower BPM jumps rather than the kind of bursty consistency focus in Hard Rock 1. So something like the free mod 1, the DT1 would make a lot of sense, but they could also just spec right into the speed. Brazil had very, very good scores on the DT2 in qualifiers compared to Romania. Even their worst score is still a good 300,000 score better than Romania's best score on that DT2 in qualifiers. So wouldn't be surprised to see them pick speed, but they're going to throw all that out the window and just go into some alt-tech hybrid sort of mapping here with the Nomad 3.
It's going to be so hard to predict what these teams are
I know,
for
right?
here. First match for both of them, very new rosters for both of them, very evenly matched. Like, it's a bit of a guessing game, right? There's so many well-rounded players on both sides here, right? It's also worth noting, Romania's qualifiers was only played with 6 players as well. Their 7th player Sylvian and 8th player Alex Belia were not playing in that. We don't really know what these guys are playing. And if they're going to be doing any better than these 6-man rosters, but also for Brazil, trying to predict what Romania is going to be good at is a little bit different. Big roster changes this year. No Badu, no Camosiala, no Raze. There's a lot of changes here that sometimes in OWC repeat over and over throughout the years. You can kind of get an idea of, oh yeah, this team's usually good at this kind of thing. Not necessarily true anymore. Too many changes, really. So.
Yeah, and I think on paper, what a lot of people expected for Romania is for them to be a mechanics team this year, right? So I think that's probably part of the decision for Brazil picking this No Mod 3 is we expect this Romania team to be much better at mechanics this year than they are at the more gimmicky stuff or unconventional picks in the pool, like the alt, like the tech, like the reading. So let's pick into that at the start and try and feel out exactly what this Romania team is really good at in match, because even after qualifiers, it doesn't really tell the whole story, right? Qualifiers versus in match, if you've ever played tournaments yourself, it's two completely different beasts. So I think you just gotta sort of feel out a newer team like this, and that kind of goes for both of these rosters, honestly.
Oh, for sure. I do like this pick, though. I mean, this map is not too difficult. I mean, it's not even 6 stars, apparently. I just learned this. But it's very long, almost 4 minutes of this with some fairly technical transitions between a lot of stuff, a lot of, pretty like tech adjacent skill sets here, lots of slider aim, lots of snap, lots of, alt control type stuff. So it can definitely catch you off guard just once. And that's all that really matters, right? Over 4 minutes, you just really need to slip up once and your score gets affected so much. So we'll have to see how that progresses over the course of this map. So far, so good for almost every single player here.
Yeah, very early drop for TFG Kitten. Find one slip early on, but not going to matter too much. It's only a 15,000 score lead for Romania right now. The accuracy can impact more of the score than that missed. So not going to matter too much in the scheme of things, but Izzy finding a drop there, 500 combo in, could be a little bit more impactful. And now you're tracking a score lead for Romania growing up and closing in on that 50k as the 4-way full combo remains intact after the first Ki time for Romania. That first chorus of the song over, and Romania still looking very, very good. Kagira and Droppings, though, still holding the FCs for Brazil, so still room for a comeback here for this Brazilian squad, especially with that good supporting combo still going for TFGE Kitten, just that very, very early miss. A couple of players with some really nice accuracy as well. TFGE Kitten, Droppings, and Lucrece all with just about 99% accuracy, so definitely track those 3 players, as accuracy on this map can show comfort, but sometimes you just gotta drop the slider ends to maintain the combo on something like this.
I think it's almost always slider ends on this type of map, right? A lot of players are going to prefer to play more comfortably and cheese them a little bit. There's some sliders in here that are pretty hard to play correctly, but some things are happening finally here. About halfway in the map, Kahes going to be breaking, so that 200k lead is going to start to shrink a little bit. That early, those couple of early misses on the side of Brazil might not actually matter. Again, this is almost 4 minutes long, right? So, does not look like they're too affected, though. Izzy's still struggling a little bit to find their footing, but Nanoya and TFG Kitten trading here. Still a pretty comfortable lead coming into the ending of this for Romania.
Yeah, still a third of the map to go, and right now it's 2-2 on the full combos. Supporting combos about equal as well. So you're just hoping, if you're rooting for Brazil, you're hoping for Kagira and Droppings to hold and for somebody on Romania to miss. But if neither of these full combos drop for Romania, basically right now it will stay the same, but there goes Eternum. Droppings and Kagira still holding on. Kahest and Izzy trade once again, and as we get into the ending here, it starts to look a little rough for Romania. Lucrece also finding the drop on the full combo, and now it's the 2 FCs for Brazil still going strong. Is there enough map time left? The score lead is just evaporating for Romania.
There's another section here.
There's still more map. Is it going to be enough? The score lead is going down so quickly now. Droppings and Kagira, though, they have to hold. If either of them break, it's basically over for Brazil. But there's the score lead swap, and it's up to 50k almost already. And that is going to be a breakpoint for... Actually, not a breakpoint. Brazil winning their own pick. No breakpoint for Romania. on this first pick from Brazil, and now a 2-0 start for Brazil after the breakpoint on Hard Rock 1 and the win here on Nomad 3. Very well done from Kagira and Droppinks in particular, pulling out those FCs, and that ended up being completely the difference, right? The supporting scores were relatively similar, but if Eternum and Lucrece had held on, they would have held a 200,000 score lead to the end of the map. So it's just really unlucky breaks for Eternum and Lucrece there, and Kagira and Droppinks able to hold on at the end of the map.
Yeah, that accuracy from Lucrece as well. Very comfortable in that 1000s, way above everyone else. That one cider break, though, don't think it would have made a difference in score, actually, or if so, it would have been really close. But still, the map is so long, right? Those two combos, Kagira, Droppinks, definitely making a huge difference here. And it's good to see it for I mean, Droppinks as well. Mentioned their best performing player from qualifiers. Kagira as well, I think, wasn't really that notable from the qualifier scores, so it's good that they get their footing here. Pretty strong showing from Brazil at the start here, off of a breakpoint and a win on their own pick. Although it was a little close, it was a little bloody, but they did it. And now we have to, you know, somehow figure out what Romania wants to answer with this. It looks like we don't have to wait for long. Hokago Shrine going for the very old density map here. I don't think we've actually seen this one played yet, if I'm not wrong. Maybe the first time.
I haven't seen it, but I haven't watched every match, so not entirely sure on that, but we'll see. And I don't think, I don't think it has been picked.
Very specific type of map here, really. We're catering with the boomers for this one. It's not really that difficult, but again, this is like a 2012 map or something, 2013 map. Feels a lot different to play. It's AR9 flat, ends up being very dense for a song this fast, so curious to see what ends up happening with mods. Although both of these teams, admittedly on the Brazilian players, a lot of new names that I'm not too familiar how they would fare for an older map style like this. Korean Maluko is going to have no problem with this if he's in. But Romania's side also has a fair amount of players that are going to be pretty comfortable on this, so I kind of like this pick from them. I think they have a pretty good showing. Usually, at least historically for Romania, these free mods tend to be pretty good for them. Mostly just from Eternum being such a good hard rock anchor for this team. Like, that guy just never misses. So I'm curious to see if that's what they choose to run with for this one.
Yeah, I feel like Romania's team just kind of eats these up most of the time. Brazil still should be good at this, right? It's not like either of these teams are going to be bad at this sort of map. But the style of mapping is, like you said, Azer, a little older, a little favored toward some teams more than others, just depending on the age of the players and sign up date and how long they've been playing the game, because jump maps just aren't made quite the same nowadays, for better or worse. There's people on both sides of that argument. But for now, yeah, it's going to be double hard rock here. Eternum and Nanoya taking the hard rock for Romania, Hidden for Lucrece, and Nomad for Origin. Bit of an overmod here on the side of Brazil as well. Izzy and Korean Maluko on Hidden hard rock, Learman on the Hidden only, and Droppinks on the Nomad. So overmod on both teams, but a whopping 5 total mods for Brazil with that double Hidden hard rock. Let's see how this goes for both of these teams. This is a map, by the way, we haven't talked about this quite yet, but this map starts out relatively simple. I would say, maybe high 5 stars for most of the map, and then the ending really kicks up the difficulty quite a bit. You get a lot of high spacing triples, some more kind of tricky patterns in terms of the aim spacing alongside that density. So that ending diff spike may be a deciding factor in this map. We'll see. A couple of early breaks to come through, though. Korean Maluko and Origin both finding breaks here at the start. And Lucrece, right at the beginning of the map, about 70 combo in, finding a drop as well.
All 3 of these misses are exactly, it's just a result of this style of map that we're talking about. It's pretty slow, it's pretty dense, it looks super easy, but it's so easy to get caught on a random object here. Maps are just not made like this anymore, so that's what we've seen with both Korean Maluko, slight miss-aim as well, and Origin, I think, just aimed too fast on the triple. AR9 flat on a song this fast, going to do that too, but getting into the first course now. Little bit of a spike, you could say, but not really much. And it's still stable for everyone else.
Another break, though, to come through for Romania. It's Nanoya this time on the hard rock. That's one of the FCs down, so it's just the tournament now holding the full combo for Romania versus 3 FCs for Brazil. Liramin, Izzy, and Droppinks all still holding these FCs. Oh, Droppinks actually finding a slider break right at the end of the first KI time, so not quite as bad for Romania anymore. Liramin and Izzy on that double FC. And Lucrece not too far behind the full combo himself, so still relatively even in terms of the combo, but slight favor towards Brazil overall, with the supporting combos included in that. So ever so slight score lead building for Brazil here, but it's still only 100,000 points, and 2/3 of the way through, 100,000 points can evaporate in an instant if one of these full combos goes away.
Some of these hard rock accuracies are pretty crazy. I mean, Korean Miliko's on like 200s.
Oh boy.
It turned him and Nanoya now. 0-101 miss scores from both of them. Liramin actually going to be breaking again here, but Brazil still keeping up here. Got the lead. Izzy's doing quite well on this, but like you said, a lot of changes happening to the end of this. It spikes up a little bit here, so things could still change, but finding himself in a pretty comfortable lead here. Dropping is going to be dropping the supporting combo, but again, still a pretty big lead here. The major combo there from 2 of the Brazilian Hard Rock players showing up big here. We're going to get into the last part, see if anything changes, but I think they're in a pretty comfortable position here. And with Lucrece finding a miss here, it's going to be the last combo on Romania. Some trades happening, but I think the damage is already done deal.
Yeah, Izzy's hidden hard rock full combo also drops there. Liramin drops once again, shaking super hard, by the way. Was FCing up till about 2/3 of the way through the map, so understandable shakes there at the end. But Brazil right now coming out on top, largely thanks to Izzy full comboing almost to the end with hidden hard rock, and Korean Maluko reverse choking this with hidden hard rock, comboing the entire ending on HDHR. Absolute demon score there with that ending. You expect misses at the ending diff spike on a map like this.
0-100s.
Yeah,
so
it turned
sad.
0-100s,
So
one
sad.
miss, man.
No,
0-100s, one miss.
100, got a 50 on the spinner at the end, because not happy about that. Let us know. But I think
that Romania team accuracy, Matt. 0-100s, 100, 150, 400s, 150, 300s, 250s. That is... They are praying for Mania scoring right now. That is what they are doing. They are trying to manifest Mania scoring in the next OWC.
Brazil, though, showing up big on this one. I mean, 2 pretty much FCs, right? We can almost call those FCs. They're pretty close, 900k plus. But damn, the Hard Rock players on that one, really, really solid. To be able to beat that, to see those accuracies and still get a higher score and win on that point. Really, really impressive. Brazil now 3-0 on this one. That's impressive and surprising.
Very, very solid for Brazil, though, finding that break point on the free mod 1. And now I think this is, as you said, it's surprising just because I don't think anybody expected this map to be 3-0 to start off for either team, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's now 2 breakpoints in a row for Brazil, so they're on track to 4-0 start off this match if they're able to win their next pick. So this is looking very, very good for Brazil and very bad for Romania very quickly. We'll see where they want to go next with this. I would kind of expect, just because I was going to say, either into some more aim or into some aim control alt style stuff based on the map so far. Obviously, they've won everything, so all of that is fair game for Brazil. And they're going to go with No Mod 1, Shikanoko Nokonoko Koshtantan by Raphael, the Raphael remix, mapped by well-known Canadian mapper Bad Boy. This is it's some high spacing, low BPM jumps, 185 BPM, and very, very, very high spacing for this sort of star rating. This does not feel like 6.5 stars. This feels more like 6.7, 6.8 stars when actually playing the map. And I think you'll see that with a lot of these patterns. One thing to note about this map, there's a couple of sections that are different from the usual aim. All right, there's a small tech section and a small burst slider aim section also. In between those, however, is an aim section that is absolutely the hardest part of the map. Watching one of the matches earlier, we saw a 7-way wipe on that section and 1 player holding, making the difference and winning the map. So this is a map where solo carries are actually possible due to the way the difficulty works in this map.
This map might actually be like the biggest hidden threat on this pool, not gonna lie. It looks very simple. Like it's just no mod 1. Very comfortable. You know, jumps for this 6.5 stars, not a problem. But then you hear this part that's about to come on, and it's a tone shift, and it's claimed some victims already. It's really not that difficult, but we are just not used to seeing a section like this in this type of map. Pretty interesting to see if these players are going to be able to hold up here.
All right, looks like we've got rosters in for both teams now. Eternum, Nanoya, Lucrece, and Kahest in to manifest a breakpoint for Romania here, start to even things out in this match. Brazil fielding Kagiura, Izzy, Kurimaluko, and Droppinks to try to keep the momentum going and secure themselves a 4-0 lead and match point as early as possible in this match. See which of these teams comes out on top, because both of these teams are very solid on the aim consistency, but if you look at the qualifiers results, it's Romania with both of their team scores ahead of both team scores from Brazil on the No Mod 1. I mean, these are very different types of maps, right? It's not the exact same from week to week in any slot in OWC most of the time, but it was still aim consistency. So we'll see if Brazil's able to keep the momentum or if Romania can pull out the kind of scores that they had in qualifiers.
I think I'm pretty interested to see Kagiura here as well. I mentioned in qualifiers, not really a lot of standout stuff here, but I mean, the few maps that they've played, they've made a pretty major difference. Maybe just happens to be a player that's really consistent on a low star pool like this one. So interested to see if they can keep that going. Consistency here is going to matter quite a lot for pretty much every player here. Any miss on any of the aim here before, you know, some of those sections we were talking about, where if you're going to miss anywhere, it's probably going to be on those, right? If you're expecting to play this map, it's very, very, very comfortable. So, you know, it can make a big difference if there's an early miss on here about, you know, first half of the map. But early on, pretty solid for... Whoa, I'm going... Was that lag? That looked like lag to me.
I don't know, but two at the same time there for
that
Brazil.
Might have been
okay, it was Bancho for
one of them
Izzy.
Was lag.
One of them was lag, but I think dropping
after, yeah, okay.
Oh man. Okay, so that's a little rough for Brazil, but not quite as bad as it looked there. But Kurimaluko actually also breaking now. That is 2 full combos down for Brazil, and a big combo lead for Romania going into the tech section here in just a minute. Once again, watch out for the tech section, but watch out as well for... Oh, Kagiura!
What was that? It's like at the end of the slider. That was a weird break from Kagiura, but another one down for Brazil here. Turnham's going to trade, but this is a lot of damage being done. Still holding 3 full combos after that part, and not a lot on the side of Brazil to really offer a way to come back, even with more breaks. Maybe with this one, 400k is kind of a lot, and with Izzy being gone, I think that's going to be it. Romania finally going to have a point on this, and it's a break point as well, so...
Yeah, massive for them. I mean, if they don't get the break point here, right, they have 4 instances of match point to get through and a tiebreaker. They have to reverse sweep just to get to victory, which is, you know, it's not unheard of, but in a match with seeding this close, it's nigh impossible. It's very, very difficult to do that. But 3-1 is far more manageable, right? You only need 1 more break point from here, and you're not at match point the entire rest of the match, more importantly. So definitely still a doable match for Romania. Very, very good double FC for Nanoya and Kahest there. 1-100 for Nanoya, 4 100s for Kahest. Really, really good accuracy. Droppings. Doing manifesting his best Eternum cosplay right now. 0 100s, 1 miss there on the No Mod 1. We've seen that a couple of times now in this match already. Really unfortunate anytime you see something like that.
So close to so many great scores so far this match. I mean, for teams of this caliber, right? 16-17, you would not really expect anybody to really get close to SSs, and what we've seen like 4 already that are like 1 note off. Pretty interesting here. This must be as hard for the players to choose maps than it is for us to predict what they're choosing. I'm not really seeing like a pattern. There's not really any single player on either side standing out for anything. There's not a lot of advantages being found here. Every map is so close. And now we're going to get into another map that's, you know, for most players, I think probably the most comfortable in the pool. We've already seen several SSs on this one. If you can play this, as you know, typically for the early stage speed maps, you know, if you're a player that is going to be able to play them at all, it's never going to be a problem, right? So scores are really high on this one. Miss is really impactful on this one if you happen to miss. There's not much to miss on if you can tap it, but yeah. Potentially, you know, with how good everyone's been playing so far, potentially seeing a 7-way or 8-way here. We are going to be seeing at least 2 new players here. Saiwan and Hero going to be coming in for their team respectively. Brazil looks like they're still trying to figure out their 4th player.
Saiwan is Brazil, so Saiwan in the wrong slot.
You're
there.
still right.
Romania.
It'll be Romania, maybe Rolly?
Yeah, probably Rolly, I would guess.
Rolly hasn't played a map yet, I think, so.
Yeah, just based off of who's played in qualifiers, though, you expect it to be Rolly. Was in for both the DT2 and DT3 in qualifiers, and we haven't seen any speed maps yet, so you have to assume it's Rolly coming in. But gonna be Kahest instead, so...
Okay. I mean, Kahest is definitely more than capable to play this as well. Again, with these early stage, you know, quote-unquote speed maps, I think there's the range of players that are able to play them is a lot higher. Sometimes the speed players aren't, you know, the people you immediately come to mind when it comes to speed on the team, they're not necessarily always the best option for this, right? If you have a lot of like really consistent early stage players that are speedy enough to play this, then potentially a better option. I guess we'll have to see. Maybe we're just wrong, and KS is actually just also really good at this. But I mean, again, I think arguably this being the easiest map in the pool, I think all 8 players here are going to be really comfortable and going to be able to play this pretty well. So we'll have to see.
Well, we'll see very soon as we're about to load into the map here. Once again, a bit of an interesting roster change for Brazil. Usually you expect Korea Maluko in on a lot of the mechanics picks, especially. Speed picks definitely included in that, but did not play any speed in qualifiers for Brazil. DT2, both their runs were without Korea Maluko, and not playing the Nomad 2 here either, but this roster looking pretty solid regardless here. For now, a couple of early breaks. Nanoya and Hero finding some breaks early on while the client was buffering. Eternum also dropping at the very, very start of the map. So the reverse choke there for Eternum. And right now, it's just actually only Hero as Nanoya's combo was fixed. It was Bancho. So
it is pretty surprising to see those really early on. Those were both at the very start of the map. We didn't even get to see them. Maybe just the adjustment period from playing a different map before this one, but that one's gonna matter a lot more though. Saiwan around the middle here with solid accuracy as well, gonna be pretty impactful miss. Again, this being one of the easier maps in the pool, going to matter a lot more if you get a slight miss aim somewhere here. So pretty sizable lead for Romania, kind of expected to keep growing as well. Seems like Hero and Eternum have recovered as well, so.
And now it's 3 full combos and a reverse choke for Romania versus 2 full combos, a solid recovery, and one that's missed very recently. There goes Eternum, though, and TFGE Kitten, though, and Hero, actually. 3 breaks in short order, but 2 of those on the side of Brazil, and 3 full combos still intact for Romania means this is just going to start to run away for the side of Romania.
I think that was on a slow slider for TFGE.
It might have been. It was a weird place to break for sure. Not really on any of the speed patterns, unfortunately. You know, if you do miss in a map, you probably want it to be on the hard part, but unfortunately not going to be the case for some of these players. That said, it's looking pretty over here. We've still got some ridiculous scores to track as well on this map. Now, this has been done already, I think, actually twice in the bracket stage so far. No SS this time around for Nanoya, though. We have seen a couple of double S's already on this Nomad 2 in the bracket stage, matching the replay from Jackson. And just, again, the accuracy for some of these players. 0 100s, 152 miss for Saiwan, 1 100 for Nanoya, 3 100s, 150, 1 miss for Eternum, 9 100s, sub 1000 count for Lucrece as well. Like, the comfort on this map is ridiculous, but especially so for Romania, right? The lowest accuracy on Romania on this map is 98.89%, which is just obscene, right? Combined 100 count is like 35 or something. It's ridiculous.
This score gap was all really, really big. Whatever that miss was on the side of Brazil, I don't think it would have mattered regardless if Romania is going to put up a score like that.
No.
Yeah, even with the Eternum, you know, having that early miss, and I think he had 1 miss in the middle as well, still a very, very good score for Romania. And maybe sets the tone here for speed if Brazil was considering that. I think this map a little bit similar to DT2. DT2 probably teetering more towards stamina than anything else. Are going to be seeing DT1 though as well, a very common map we've already seen a lot of times. This is peak comfy, I think, for so many players. It's exactly what you'd want from a map like this. Few bursts, the aim's not too hard for any of this, so we'll have to see how this one ends up as well. Maybe some roster changes here and there. We'll have to see.
Yeah, this map also, speaking of peak comfy, this is AR10 as well. It's not even high approach rate, so even players who can play speed aim, can play the burst, but might have trouble with the reading a little bit on higher approach rate, are still going to be really comfortable on this. And for around a 32 pick, I think it makes sense. It's just very good for some of those players that might start to struggle with that slightly higher approach rate. So you're going to expect everyone in on this to be very comfortable because everything is super straightforward. The bursts are manageable as well. I think the longest burst in this map is 9 notes, maybe.
I think so, yeah.
And they're all very low spacing, right? It's near stacked. So there's hardly any flow aim with the bursts as well. So this is a very comfortable map, and you're going to expect mostly high scores from both of these teams, especially with how they've been playing so far. Both of these teams have been playing ridiculously well throughout this match, so I'm definitely expecting some very good scores from both of these teams. Couple of roster changes to go through. Eternum, Nanoya, Lucrece in back again. Kahest also in for this map. I think it was Rolly on the last one. No, it was Kahest on the last one. So
has Romania even swapped the player?
I don't know. I'll take a look.
I think it's been these four the entire
we have seen Rolly already.
Oh, we have? Okay.
Yeah, we have. We have seen Rolly. We have seen Origin.
We did see Origin for a map. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, they're going to be bringing Korean back in for this one. Was wondering why they've been missing for a couple of maps, but Comfy Map shows up, and here it is. Unfortunate timing on that one. A little bit of an early miss. But, again, it's so early, I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference.
Surely not. He reverse choked the free mod 1 on Hidden Hard Rock, so surely not going to matter all that much here. A couple of other roster changes as well. TFGE Kitten back in, Izzy back in, but Seiwon and Hero out for Droppinks in addition to the obvious Korean Luko addition. Droppinks a very solid aim player as well, so not too surprising here to see him in. Nanoya with the first break for the side of Romania a little bit later on than Korean's break, and the accuracy plus the extra combo doing some work here on the score lead for Brazil, up 40k at the moment. Not a big lead, but we're only a quarter of the way into the map, so plenty of time for that to build with this slight combo advantage they have.
Difference maker on this one, definitely going to be nerves. They were already talking about it a little bit in chat. Again, nothing really to miss on here. This is one of those maps where on solo, if you're a player that can play this, you might actually never miss on this, but playing it in MotoBC gonna create a little bit of a difference. You still need to be really on point for this. Any single object here can catch you off guard, and Romania are going to continue bleeding out a little bit here. I mean, Nanoya's recovered, but I mean, still pretty much a four-way for Brazil here. Korean just had, that adjustment period miss at the first 10 objects of the map or something. Like, basically doesn't matter. So, pretty strong position to be here for Brazil. Lots of room to make mistakes if you have to, but build's gonna, lead's gonna keep getting built up here. 200k keeps going, and we're already halfway in.
Yeah, it's looking very solid for Brazil, but again, with big combos on basically everyone, any misses can be extremely impactful. That said, you'd need a couple for Brazil for that score lead to start going back the other way, just with how the combos are right now. One of these FCs dropping is enough to maybe even things out. There goes Korean, but it's traded by Lucrece, so it's not going to matter whatsoever. Same exact combo lead here for Brazil. And now it's just Kahest versus 3 FCs. You have support on Nanoya and Eternum, but it's just not enough compared to the 3 full combos on the side of Brazil. And Korean Maluko being the bottom performer right now for Brazil was not on my bingo card for DT1 in round of 32, but Brazil got hands, man. They are popping off on this map right now. Can they actually close out the 3-way full combo is the question at this point. There's no question about who's winning. It's going to be Brazil up 4-2 after this, but the only question is, can this revitalized roster show them what for and get the 3-way full combo on this? Korean Maluko going to drop another miss, but that does not matter whatsoever. And it is going to be the three-way here. Droppings, Izzy, and TFGE Kitten all pulling out the full combos. There were people before OWC started questioning how well Brazil could qualify in with the roster changes they had this year, with Zubs exiting, with Defons exiting, and Brazil, I think, has really shown that they have reserve players, that they have other tournament players who are good enough to not just qualify, but compete and win in the World Cup, because these kinds of scorelines do not come by coincidence.
Oh yeah, this is honestly one of the best possible looks you can have for Brazil here. Like, just looking at this, right? Karim Maloko being last on that map. It's not even because he did bad. That's still a really good score. The Brazil players are actually just showing up here. Again, two of the new players that we're not really familiar with, at least on the OWC stage, really showing up where it matters here. I mean, this match was supposed to be close, but Brazil doesn't agree. This is pretty insane here. This also might give them a window into what they might want to pick for the last pick here if we get to that, right? Really solid performance on that one. Maybe you might have to look at DT2 after that, because that was the biggest score difference in this match so far. So very, very good showing from them. It's going to be Romania's pick now. Still a lot of different things on the table, lots of different map types. We haven't really seen too much. However, you're saying Romania is definitely a team that tends to like mechanics. Not too many of those remaining, really. Pretty much every single map left on the table except for DT2 would not be described as mechanics, really.
No.
So
No. I will say though,
they go into.
I will say though, the DT1 was a big score lead, but the Nomad 2 score lead for Romania was a whopping 900k on Nomad.
Okay.
So I think Romania actually just picks DT2, and yeah, there it is. Because that is the biggest score lead so far in this match, alongside the Nomad 1 for Romania, which was 830k. So the two maps that they've won were both of the biggest score leads so far in the entire match. The third biggest was that DT1, so definitely still, an angle for fast aim for Brazil, but unfortunately there's none of that left in the pool. So unfortunately, I don't think it gives too much into the strategy. All the rest of the remaining maps really are not mechanics after this, as you said. So it's going to be interesting to see what the last pick is for both of these teams if we get there. For now, though, Double Time 2 coming in with the win on Nomad 2 for Romania, the Speed Nomad. You expect them to do very well on this, and you expect probably a similar roster. Nanoya, Lucrece, Eternum at the very least, probably coming back in for this, as well as maybe Kahest or maybe Rolly.
Yeah, lots of choices here. I hate to say it, but this being, in theory, on paper, the closest match in this round, Seed 16 versus Seed 17, I must say, for two maps, I will temporarily be biased in the favor of Romania here. I need to see this. It needs to be played. It just has to. So, secretly going to be preying on Brazil's temporary downfall for the sake of the rest of us.
Let's see if Romania can get there. I think this map is a good choice for Romania. I think this is their best pick remaining in the pool. So using this as their last pick is definitely a solid move. And for Brazil, right, they did win the Nomad 3, but that was one of the closest maps. I think the closest score difference in the match so far, only 130,000 in Brazil's favor. And again, that map was decided by Droppings and Kageura FCing and Lucrece and Eternum not FCing. Because if Droppings and Kageura miss at all, that's a win for Romania. Or if either Lucrece or Eternum FC, then it might have gone the way of Romania as well. So a lot had to go right for Brazil to win that map. So I'm not sure if any of the other maps really stand out as particularly good picks for Brazil. We'll get there if we get there after this map. Eternum, Nanoya, Lucrece, and Kahest in once again on the speed map for Romania. TFGE, Kitten, Sewan, Izzy, and Hero in once again on the speed map for Brazil. Identical rosters to the Nomad 2.
Yeah, I think it's also worth noting here, based on how a lot of the Brazilian players that have played so far in the lobby, I wouldn't say the people that are here right now are definitely the most noteworthy ones, right? A lot of the Brazilian players that have made major differences here are sat out for this one, right? So we've yet to really see a lot of Sewan and a lot of Hero and a lot of Izzy make a big difference here. So I'm curious to see if they can pull it off on this one. They'll need to if they want to avoid getting to those maps that are super uncertain, right? This is probably the last map that we think is going to be comfortable for both of these teams. And so far, 2 misses here on the side of Brazil here. And Romania looking pretty comfortable as always.
Yeah, Lucrece and Cahest with some questionable accuracy at 96, but unfortunately for Brazil, not able to take advantage because TFG Kitten's really struggling down at the 93, 94 mark. So it's a wash in terms of the accuracy, and that just means the combos here for Romania get to do all the work, and that's exactly what they want to have here with the 4-way full combo still intact. Seiwan and Izzy are still holding and do still have very good accuracy. Hero on the recovery at high 97 does look to be pretty comfortable on the map as well. So there is room for recovery. There is room for a comeback. There is room for a breakpoint for Brazil. But right now, Romania just looks rock solid on this. We'll see if they continue to look that way throughout the rest of the map.
Yeah, thankfully accuracy is not really going to matter in a situation like this. A little bit more breaks on the side of Brazil here. Another big one actually. Seiwan breaking almost the last FC that Brazil had on their side here. Izzy now the last one standing, but Lucrece going to be matching that. Still a growing lead, almost 400k now for Romania, about the halfway point. Showing us that, and with Izzy gone now, that's it. So Hero pretty much standing alone right now with the recovering combo, doing a good job, but yeah, man, accuracy might not matter sometimes in this game. You can have your 95s and your 97s as long as you keep combo. That does the job. So
we've seen good scores from a lot of these members throughout the rest of the match. TFG Kitten full comboing the very first map of the match on Hard Rock 1. Izzy doing well on almost every map actually. Choked the free mod one with Hidden Hard Rock as well. But unfortunately, Seiwan and Hero have just been in for these speed maps and haven't had the opportunity to shine with how good Romania is at speed. We do see a break from Cahest here near the end, but the double full combo from the 2 most comfortable members on this map, Eternum and Nanoya, still showing just how big of a lead they can generate. And I think this might take the crown for biggest score lead in the match so far, Alex. They've already closed in on that 900k we saw in the Nomad 2, and they're looking to set a new record for themselves here. Probably close to a 1 million score difference by the end of the map, or maybe 950k here. But still, very, very one-sided victory here for Romania. Double full combo alongside some very good 650 and 750k supporting scores on the bottom row there.
So comfortable for them. I mean, when you think of these players, I think it's definitely the type of scores that you'd expect, right? Nanoya and Eternum, very staple players for this country and really showing up here when they really need it. So it's good to find some footing here. One more map left for them to take it to tiebreaker. It is on Brazil's pick, and as we've mentioned, we've kind of just been trading mechanics pick this entire, there's been 7 mechanics maps played. What's left is uncharted territory. we don't know what we're getting into right now. Like, we're stepping into the far lands. We have no idea how this is gonna go really. So maybe a timeout angle here to really figure it out. Like, there's not much left here that aligns with anything that these players have shown to want to play, right? Nomad 4, low BPM flow aim control. We got Hidden One, mostly tech. Bug Thief with a lot of crazy sliders and precision. Broken Moon, low AR. We've got Stellalude, like 4 minutes of like alt consistency. Not really in line with most of what's remaining. Potentially, if I had to pick one, maybe seeing Stellalude. Because we did see Brazil aim into Nomad 3, Good Child in the Fox Spirit, but that did not really... I don't think that one was really convincing. Yeah, 200k, 300k, and it is going to be Stellalude, so that's going to be last map played here. Brazil looking to close it before having to play Lies Playing Truth as a tiebreaker. Romania having something to prove here. One more map for them.
Everything we've seen so far, besides that Nomad 3, has been just mechanics maps. The Nomad 3, again, was a 130k score difference, so not at all convincing. Very close between the 2 teams. The deciding factor was 2 FCs dropping for Romania near the end, and 2 FCs holding for Brazil at the end, so a lot had to go right for it to go Brazil's way on that pick, which, all that said, means that this should be a very close map. and something that potentially decides the outcome of the match as well. So both teams got to be a little nervous going into this map. That said, on the alt pick so far, we have seen Brazil win. On the free mods so far, we have seen Brazil win. So just going by the track record in this match, you expect this to be a good pick for Brazil. You expect them to win, but you still expect it to be close. And in a matchup like this with teams that are seated right next to each other that have been performing extremely well throughout the match, I mean, even the bad scores in this match are still like 500k minimum on basically every map. And the good scores, even if there is a 500k, there's usually 3 of them that are 6, 7, 800k at least. So all of these players have been really, really solid for their team throughout the match. And with how these teams have been playing, I just don't think you can get much closer on paper than what we have right now for this free mod 3. So let's just talk about the map a little bit. You said it before, 4.5 minutes of alt consistency. A lot of cut streams and cut patterns in this map at 155 BPM especially. A little bit of wiggle patterns as well in this map, but a lot of this is just how well can you hold your nerve and not miss on just a random cut double or cut quad or a wiggle in the Ki time.
That's the 2 notable things on this one for me. First one, really quick one. This is CS 3.3. Sometimes that's a little weird to get into after playing a bunch of maps. You kind of need to adjust to it. Things are going to be more spaced. But also, 4 minutes and 25 seconds on this one. So much consistency matters here. On any of these other picks that have been played, there's been a lot of consistency misses on both sides, right? A lot of random pattern misses with the map being so long. Going to matter a lot more, and everything on the line here for Romania. They've got to show up for this one, and so we'll have to see if they can deliver. They've also changed a lot of their mods, actually. Origin was previously playing no mod, I believe, now playing the Hidden on this one. I believe Korean Moloch also was playing HDHR on free mod 1, now opting to go for no mod. Still a little bit of an overmod on Brazil's side here, taking an extra hard rock just for comfort.
Well, starting off in this map, not too much to write home about. Everybody pretty much even. AC advantage for Romania here at the start, giving them the score lead, but that's going to even out over time in a map like this, or at least you expect it to. So shouldn't be any major factor later on, especially in a map that's 4.5 minutes long. Again, you just expect misses in some random patterns. And there goes Kaihura with the first miss for either team. Does break on the high spacing pattern on Hidden Hard Rock. Korean Moloch and Learman both break as well. And now that's suddenly really bad for Brazil. It's just Izzy on the Hard Rock holding the FC versus the 4-way full combo for Romania. As Eternum, Nanoya, Lucrece, and Origin all still holding through this first Ki time, through this first chorus of the song. And as we come out of that first Ki time, full combos still intact for everyone on Romania. Again, just Izzy to hold for Brazil. So a lot of work to do for Brazil if they want to make a comeback and avoid that tiebreaker.
There's still so much to go. There's 3 minutes left in this, right? A lot of nerves are going to be affecting the rest of this. All 8 players know, they've seen the break. They know the situation here, right? That you've got to hold it together for 3 minutes on both sides here. And we're going to be seeing a lot more of those patterns that both Crane and Learman missed on. Just some random aim control double that will catch you off guard, as it already has, right? So it's going to be really important to see if it can swing back. It definitely still can swing back here as we get into a little bit of another hard part. And I know you're going to be breaking, but still a combo advantage going on for Romania here. And we'll have to see. Okay, the doubles are okay. We're all okay.
One other thing we haven't talked about in this map, there's a couple of slow sliders here. I think after this Ki time, I think right at the end of this Ki time, there's a slow slider. So let's see who's practiced and remembers it. Ooh. Okay, nobody breaking on that one. We get into a bit of an easier section here, but Lucrece actually did break right before the slow slider, so now it's just 2 full combos for Romania. Tournament Origin still on those FCs. Izzy matching, and these 3 recovery combos for Brazil now are enough to outdo one of those FCs for Romania. So this is actually combo advantage Brazil. The score lead is starting to come back their way.
It's closing. Oh, they see it. They see it. Oh man, when you're on tiebreaker
Oh.
point here, match point break at the end, you know what's going on. Oh man.
All right,
I'm not
last
even
quarter
playing.
of the
I'm
map.
nervous for them.
I'm nervous too, man. It's nervous all
Origin.
around. Origin breaks though. Origin breaks at the end. That's one of the full combos down again for Romania. Everyone for Brazil still holding. It's Izzy matching Eternum on the Hard Rock, and then 3-1K supporting combos for Brazil. These
this
reverse
recovery's
chokes are coming
crazy.
out massive for Brazil. They're able to take it back once again. And Alex, is a repeat of the Nomad 3 once more. Romania breaking at the end, and Brazil holding is going to decide this pick. Nanoya drops once again, and Brazil, they will find the on-paper upset despite the roster changes, despite the loss of multiple of their best players from last year. Brazil show they've still got it. They've still got the reserve players, and they still deserve their spot in the round of 16 and in the US World Cup.
Incredibly well played, honestly. I mean, you can't even fault them for anything there. Like, they got the early misses out of the way, perfectly recovered until the end. No other misses. Just 300 combo in, and that's in. They just missed to make us worry, but they were never worried at all. Very, very comfortable for this one. Brazil going to be taking this one pretty convincingly for this map. But wow, a lot of these maps really close. Didn't get the tiebreaker, but pretty happy with the result. I think this was a very, very good match being played here. And honestly, really looking forward to see where Brazil goes after this. I mean, we had a lot of question marks, especially, you know, regarding a lot of the players we haven't seen yet. They've made themselves seen. You now know that they're incredibly strong. You know, their qualifiers scores, they showed it, but you know, that wasn't really streamed. Right now we actually got to see the difference that those can make, and it made a difference today. So congratulations to Brazil, going to be moving on here. And I think pretty bright spot for them to be in for the next round. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of this is due to some of the new members, but especially some of the returning members were really solid. Izzy playing all 8 maps there for Brazil. Just a rock for the team. Played literally everything. Droppings as well. Not a returning member from last year, but from 2022. Pulling off some very, very good scores throughout this match. And just the full roster for Brazil showing up here. And unfortunately, Romania, their core roster doing very, very well. Of course, Nanoya, Eternum, Kahest, Lucrece, all doing very, very well, but unfortunately just not able to close it on a lot of these maps. And a lot of the early picks relatively close here, you know, 300k, 100k on the Nomad 3. This could have gone to tiebreaker if any of those go slightly differently, but it's just not quite enough. So despite everything, Romania still playing very, very well. Still lots of very, very good scores. I mean, they were losing maps while having full combos on a lot of these picks. So it just goes to show the level of play in this match really exceeds what you usually expect out of a 16-17 seeding match in round of 32. So very, very well played to both teams. Unfortunately for Romania, they drop to losers bracket next weekend. I believe to face off against Belarus in that losers bracket. And of course, Brazil, congratulations to you for winning this match. Your prize is facing off against South Korea in the round of 16. So we'll see how well they do in that one.
That's kind of how much it matters, right? This 16-17 seed match may actually be, you know, a very important match for a multitude of reasons here. Brazil, I mean, you know, in all fairness, playing against number 1 seed of the tournament, good luck. I think you have a good showing, but you might have a little bit of vacation ahead. I'd be happy to see a little bit of an upset, but that one would be quite breathtaking. And you know, on the flip side of this, we're going to be seeing Romania dropping down, kind of relaxing a little bit, having to play 2 more matches against some lower seeded teams, so they're going to get some more experience. But yeah, other than that, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. I believe this is the last match for the day. We've got a lot more tomorrow. Make sure you tune in for that. Lots more matches tomorrow. We have got, I believe, 7 more matches have yet to be played. Some pretty banger ones as well. What are you looking forward to? I think personally, favorite might be France versus Turkey. I think that should be really good on paper, right?
Yeah, France versus Turkey is definitely one of them. Sweden versus Indonesia tomorrow at 12 UTC, also going to be a very good match. Australia versus Austria is funny just because of the country names. The entire Australian team have changed their profile pictures to the Austrian flag and vice versa. So that's always good. I think UK versus Finland could be a good match as well. We'll see how that one turns out. But once again, congratulations to Brazil on the win. Good luck to Romania in the losers bracket. And that'll do it for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 11 UTC on twitch.tv/OSLive. In the meantime, if you are wanting to support your favorite teams in the World Cup, you should go and check out the World Cup profile banners now on sale in the OS store. All the proceeds there go toward the teams that you are choosing to support. So go and check out those banners. Go and buy those banners because it helps out the teams directly, and it, of course, helps out the World Cup. That'll be it from us. Once again, thanks, Azer, for the cast. Thanks for the stream as well, to our production and to our referee for making this match happen. I've been Dio. Congratulations once again to Brazil. Good luck to Romania in the losers bracket. And we'll see you all back here tomorrow on OS Live at 11 UTC for the OS World Cup round of 32.
Very soon.
She said